I got rid of my COVID hair, and it might be time for you to get rid of your old Nest Aware subscription and join the new one. But is it? That's what I will answer today. Hello Automators, thanks for tuning in again. I'm Brian from Automate Your Life, and today I'm going to take the frustration out of automation by bringing you concise, quick information about the Nest Aware service, the new subscription service that Google just rolled out in a ton of different countries, and how it impacts you, what changes have been made, and how it's better and worse than the previous one. By the way, this video will include a major impact to your Nest account. So if you're someone still hanging on to that, there are a couple of things here that you need to know. If you don't know what Nest Aware is and how it impacts your Google Home and your Google Nest products, well, in the past, what it was a subscription service for 5, 10, or 20-day event recordings, and actually 24/7 recordings. Now they give you intelligent alerts is what they called it, and that included things like familiar faces or facial recognition with certain cameras. And this was a very powerful service, if not very expensive. So without that subscription, your camera really became something that you could check notifications on and couldn't do much else with it. But that 24/7 recording plus the event recordings and the ability to go to those events very quickly made these very, very powerful cameras. What happened very recently is Google put out a new Nest Aware subscription, and it removes a few features, or actually one key feature, and then adds in a number of features. Now, the thing that it removes is from the base subscription level. So this is in the US a $6 subscription, in Canada it's $8, and there's different prices throughout the world, and we'll talk about pricing in a bit. But they removed the 24/7 video recording. So that's the big feature loss. The things they have added in just about every country. So now you can recognize if your dog is barking, and you can also get notifications if someone's speaking in a space, not necessarily within the view of a camera, but speaking within a space. And they should be able to recognize many voices if they're someone who's voice matched through Google Assistant or Google Home, and give you those alerts. Now, I don't think that means strangers. I think that means people in your home that have been recognized, but I'm not entirely clear on that, and we don't know if that might expand that way in the future. There's a couple of other additions, but these are specifically in the United States right now, or at least as far as I can tell, they are only in the United States. So number one, glass breaking and smoke or CO detectors being detected by your Google smart speakers. So this is a Nest Hub Max, but also the Google Home and the Google Nest, other smart speakers and displays, can then be used to detect those things. You will also be able to make emergency calls in the United States, and that's a big deal right from the app, basically. So you'll get an alert, you'll see what that alert is, and then you can make those emergency calls. The last thing is a package delivery notification on a Nest Hello, and that's really the only device right now that you would be able to get those package delivery notifications. But all of these things are being added to the service now. And there's a chart I'm showing up on screen here, and I'm going to show you the difference between the US and Canada, and this is one of the real keys that you need to understand. You can go to the Learn More section on the store.google.com page. You go and you search for Nest Aware, and then you'll see your chart for your specific country, because this has only been rolled out to 20 countries, but the features are different per country. So you can go look at the pricing, which is different, but you can also look at the features and what specific devices can detect what. And what's really different, what people might start to look at the Nest Hub Max a little bit differently for, is it has that Nest camera on it, and as a result, it is capable of just about everything that your system, or you could want out of that, or all of the features that Google has. So this becomes a really, really powerful device in this scenario. So to summarize, you're going to find more worth in the United States with more features. This is pretty normal, but we don't know, and I don't know, when they are going to roll out those other features in other countries. The other thing that might surprise you, I talked about the Nest Hub Max there being so powerful, but the rest of the speakers, all they can do is listen for glass breaking or smoke or CO detectors. They can't actually listen in for people being in your space when you're not home. That feature is not available yet. Now, here's a really wild idea, and I want to read this directly from Nest's or Google's blog here. If your elderly parent or relative has a Nest Hub Max, not only can they stay in touch with you with Google Duo or through Duo video calling, but you can also look out for them with the new Nest Aware. All they have to do is invite you as a home member and enable their speaker or display, and you'll get notifications if something needs your attention. It's too hard to do a direct comparison of all the different pricing adjustments between all the different plans. You know, the old plan had the 5-10 days and the longer days, and then you now have the 30 or the 60 day, and there's just a ton of permutations, and I'm not going to go through them all. You need to consider your own situation for pricing. But what I'll tell you is, in most cases, you know, if you have one camera, you're paying $5 a month on the existing subscription service, and you would actually be paying an extra $1. And what you would be trading off there is from 5-day event recordings and 24/7 recording to 30-day just event recordings and the new added features that you have available. So it really changes. Now, once you have more cameras, it basically gets way out of hand, and the new subscription pricing is much better because they're not charging you per camera. Even if you go up to the second option, which allows you to keep 24/7 recordings, I still think in most cases, as soon as you start to add extra cameras and you want these new features, the pricing really becomes much more reasonable, and that's going to be the honest truth for most of you. I think most of you are going to see this as a really quick win to save a lot of money if you have 3 or 4, or I've heard situations with 9 cameras. But there are 2 caveats to this. You lose that 24/7 recording if you don't go up to the higher subscription pricing, which is always double as far as I've seen in every country. It's double the monthly price to get that 24/7 recording. Now, personally, I don't care about 24/7 recording. I found the event recording to be more than enough with these, and I like the new features. I would probably move, but here's the bigger caveat for you, and that is if you want to move to the new Nest Aware pricing or subscription, you will have to move from a Nest account to a Google account. You will have to do that migration process. So for those of you that have been holding on to this because you have some kind of integration that you really know and love, and Amazon is a great example right now. If you want to show these cameras on one of their smart displays, yes, you will still need that old Nest account in order to do that. So unfortunately, you will have to migrate, and that will break some of those integrations if you've been holding on to them. This is a real split point where a lot of people, I think, are going to let go of the integrations and wait the little time period that we have left for Google to start repairing some of the integrations, because they have said, you know, specifically with Amazon, they have said, we will work with them, we will try and keep that integration going. But when you do that migration today, it breaks. And actually, Frank, who works with a lot of seniors, does a lot of great stuff with smart home there. You can check out his website down below and talk to Frank. He helps a lot of seniors. He actually told me about his aunt who has 9 Nest cameras. That's that situation I was talking about. She's not going to be able to convert to this new model, and that's obviously a big pricing difference. And Frank went through the process of talking to Google support and trying to get them to get him on the new pricing model without converting his account, but it just was not possible in the end. So he's okay with it, moving his smart home that way, but for some of you, you're probably not going to be. So I think that's the biggest thing you need to understand with moving to the new Nest Aware subscription model. The other thing you guys might be really happy to hear is the indoor cam, the Nest Indoor. This is an outdoor. The Nest Indoor camera dropped in price, and so did the Nest Hub to coincide with this. And that pricing is getting a lot closer to something more reasonable, I think, or more accessible for a lot of people. And when you consider all the new features they're adding, I think it's actually a pretty good deal. And they might finally get me, because then I'd be able to take full advantage of my Nest Hub Max and all of my Nest products. On screen right now is our Google Home and Google Nest updates video, which has 20 or 30 different updates. I don't even know what the number was. There was just a ton of new features and new capabilities for you, including a little tidbit about this there. So go check out that video. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and of course, don't hate, automate.